Today we have Coach Lance Burrell. He is the head football coach at the American Leadership Academy out there in the great state of Utah. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. This will be kind of a follow up to his clinic that he did. Oh God, what was that December, April, January? I don't even remember, Coach. Like it's,
It was cold outside. There was snow on the mountains. We talked about it.
but hey, that doesn't mean anything in Utah. I could snow in May.
Oh,
Like
it's now. No, we're into it now. It's beautiful.
Oh, God, it's terrible here. It's rainy. It's sad. It's yeah. Like spring has seemed to hit late for us. I don't know why. Um,
Well, without fail, every year we get into spring ball, which is what we're talking about today. And I almost plan for it at this point. Like it's going to be beautiful the week leading up to spring ball. Those first 2, 3 days going to be real nice, and then it's going to like randomly snow or rain or get really bad again. Like I'm convinced spring ball brings it out.
oh, by the way, December 30th. December 30th is what we I just pulled it up. But yeah, so coach gave a whole presentation on how he structures spring ball. And the funny thing is like me and coach will occasionally message each other about some stuff or ask some stuff to each other or give each other updates. And so coach wanted to kind of follow up on that. And me and him before we start recording, we're talking about just some of the updates I've made just because of what he did. But I mean, before we get into that, coach, how was your spring? Let's 4 weeks show anything or anything? Like, how did spring ball? Had y'all since December? How's everything been going?
Good, it's going good. I was really thankful to do that clinic in December because it kind of forced me to put a lot of the things we do on paper and like kind of get organized. And like we've always done it pretty similarly and stuff, but I never really like put it all together until we had that talk. And then this year I replaced like 6 coaches this year. Like half my staff is new and they've never done spring ball with us. And so it was really nice that it kind of forced me to do that. And I didn't really think about that in advance in December. But when it came, it was really, really, really nice to have it put together to share it with guys. And so the new staff made spring interesting. I was kind of anxious to see how it'd go, and I couldn't be happier with how it went, man. Like the new staff's been phenomenal, and our players have made such great growth. And then we also had a really big, on top of a new coaching staff, we've got a huge freshman class that's really kind of bumped our numbers higher than they've ever been here.
Good.
And so, about half our team is freshmen and sophomores who haven't done this before again. And so it was good. It was fun and you weren't quite sure what to expect, but our older guys and the coaches that have been around, they really anchored it down and we had a great spring. It was an awesome 2 weeks.
Good. And I mean we talked about that, but that I mean that's a good problem and a bad problem to have, coach. Like it means you're going to have a lot of growth. It means a lot of new experiences, especially with having such a young team. However, as I do, having a young team means a lot of growth. Like it's a double-edged sword there, coach. I know your pain. Like I mean, we'll be fairly freshman sophomore heavy as well. And then a year from now, we'll have an obscene amount of freshmen because our eighth grade class is huge. So,
The
uh,
nice part, the nice part is the guys that I do have that are juniors and seniors now, they've been here. I'm going into year 3 at ALA. They were here when I got here as freshmen and sophomores. And we played those guys. Like the numbers were so small and so low when we got here, and there weren't that many upperclassmen. Like we kind of took our lumps those first year. The second half of last year, we kind of felt that once we got into region play a little bit still. But now all of a sudden, like, yeah, half my team is incoming freshmen, but the other half of my team is juniors and seniors that have played a lot of football that know what's going on. And so it's such an interesting dynamic right now where half of them are real good and really know what's going on and very familiar with how we do things, and the other half is completely, it's almost two different programs, and that's been a fun challenge for me this spring.
good. One thing I want to talk about is kind of Instagram stuff because, and I told you before it came on, I have no problem. It's like I've always thought I've done a decent job at promoting our kids and using social media. Like I would use Facebook. I would always have like a team app that we would use, um, X, Twitter, wherever you want to call it. Um, but I mean, you kind of mentioned in your last presentation, like kids aren't really on Twitter anymore, and they're on Instagram and TikTok. And then I got this job coming back out west, and just I was curious, like so I had every kid that was at the meeting write down their social media handles, and I think I had one kid write down a Twitter account. Almost every kid had a TikTok, and 2/3 of them had half to 2/3 have an Instagram. Um, so like first time I'd made a team Instagram account. So excuse me. So I'm still figuring out Instagram, but kind of like I mean, and I don't know if you want to share your screen right now, but like I mean, if you want, or we can lead into it. But like, I mean, can you kind of show or talk about how you used Instagram this spring? Because I mean, like I said, I think you guys do a pretty good um, job of that um, going forward.
Yeah. So this is our Instagram. Kind of like you said, that the biggest thing for me with our Instagram is just understanding like one, that's where the kids are at our school, right? Like kind of what you said. But two, like it's so easy and so simple to do some of this stuff, and people just don't think about it. Like one of the big ones that we get a lot is people talk to us about these player interviews and our coaches interviews that we do after our spring practices. So this was day one. We went out there, we practiced, everybody practices, but like this was me with an iPhone and two assistant coaches. It took a minute and a half. I put a couple things out there. I shouted out some kids. You know, we have players do them, and people watch them. The kids watch them because they want to see what their buddies have to say. The parents watch them because they want to hear their name getting shouted out. And that's so easy and it's so simple. And so with our socials, like we try to just make it simple. Like, you know, I put a lot of time into our graphics and making things look nice because it gets people excited. But, you know, it's like, okay, if you're having a parent meeting, make a graphic, put the info on the parent meeting, send it out. It's not, you know, anything crazy. And so when we're in spring ball, though, like our Instagram is a lot more active than it is at other times of the year. And we're pretty good at keeping it, you know, going and stuff, but it definitely ramps up. So from like here up, we posted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times during spring ball. And on a lot of these interviews, we've got, you know, two or three, you know, we interviewed a student manager here, like we've got two or three interviews and stuff like that. Like we do our draft that we talked about. Like this was an easy thing to make. I had AI help me with it. I put it into Chat GPT and it built the format and we threw it out there. And it's fun and the people get excited about it and the people in our school, you know, it if nothing else, if you don't know anything about football, if you're not interested in football, if you don't want to play whatever, like if your boy's on there doing an interview, you're gonna listen. And so it's been fun for us. So we do those interviews every day. We get different players on there. We did our spring game t-shirts. I have a black one for you, by the way. I got to get it mailed out, but I pulled it for you. I had extra ones and I was going to sell them at our spring game, so I threw them on there and people looked and you know, people got comments and we sold them out. Like it's not hard. It's there's no secret sauce to it, but I feel like a lot of times people just don't do it.
Oh,
And
the second I get that shirt, coach, there's gonna be a tweet, and then you can post that wherever you want. Oh, like I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I will Jim McNally the crap out of that. Like we will set that up, baby. We will set that up. Like,
Yeah, they turned out real nice. I liked them.
oh, I can make it like, or I could do like depending on how you send it, I could John Gruden it like the box. Oh, we could have some fun with this, coach. Like.
We'll put it on both of our Instagrams. It'll be
Yep, like boom for my boys in Utah. Like I know, I mean, and again, kind of like you, and I've done this before. Like I'll order spring or camp shirts or however everybody has a different phrasing for it. But like I just ordered ours for the beginning of the summer because again, we don't get true spring ball like you guys do. Um, we ours are modified, obviously, but yeah, that's kind of No, and like I said, kind of taken yours, and that's I'm gonna really hype our summer up doing what you've pretty much done. I think you've kind of motivated me because again, with kids nowadays, like, and I've had this conversation in interviews over the years. It's all, um, it is all promotion. Like, I mean, kids need to know, like, hey, like they want to be felt, they want to be heard, they want to be promoted, all that jazz. So.
Well, and when you go like into the tag thing, like you'll see it too. Like these aren't our posts, but like there's almost more posts that people have tagged our account in since I've been here than what we've actually posted. So other people are paying attention to it and looking at it and doing that, and that's fun. That means we're doing it right. The last thing I'll say about our social is that it made a big difference. This was awesome. Do you know Anthony Johns from Twitter at all?
I know, yeah, like I don't not talk to him a crap ton, but like I've seen his posts, and I think he's messaged me maybe once before. Yeah,
So I've known Anthony for, probably 8 years at this point or so, and we're from the same area in Arizona and played at different rival high schools and stuff. He and I have gotten to know each other really well on social media. We talk a lot on there, and we've had a good relationship on there for a while. He was in spring ball, but they had like a dance or something through their schedule off. They were going Monday through Thursday and then Friday off or something, but there was something going on a Wednesday. And so he swapped his schedule. He went Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And on that Wednesday, he knew we were in spring ball. We talked about it on social media. He had seen our posts and that kind of thing. He flew from Phoenix up here. We went and picked him up from the airport and he spent the day with us. He did an interview with us and it was awesome to have him. It was great to have him come up and he took a lot of notes and then I didn't expect this, but like he shared his notes with me of the stuff that stood out to him and it's just interesting to see like, oh, I never would have even considered that that was something that could be taken that way or what. I feel like I got better from having Anthony come out to practice and that, probably, at this point I've known Anthony for long enough that we have a good relationship in real life and stuff, but this started because of socials and we pumped it and we tagged him and his program in it and we put it all over our socials on mine and his and our Instagram and his kids and his parents started to see it too and that's helping him in his program. Oh, our coach is out there learning and getting better and improving and it was awesome to have him and a huge part of that came back to social media. So it was really good for us.
I just love that he can just jump on a plane for a 90-minute flight to
Well,
or whatever. I doubt it's even that long. He's
it's
probably
not. You
oh,
can fly on a rinky-dink little airline. It takes 45 minutes from Phoenix to straight into Provo.
yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
It's like $40 or something if you don't have bags and you don't pick your seat. And like he was here for less than 24 hours. So he
Yep.
flew up and and we did it and he stayed the whole time with us. He stayed in our film review after practice. He came into our coaches meetings. He did everything and the whole time he was here, he was pumping it on his socials too. If you go to his page, he was pictures of mountains, pictures of practice, recording drill, like, he was pumping it and that's such an easy thing. That's so simple. And I don't know how much it really makes a difference on the field, but when our program is better, our play gets better, and so that helped, right? And so it was fun, man.
Well, it reminds me of like when I lived in Texas, like because to leave the state, a lot of times you're not flying directly out of San Antonio. You're going to
Right.
fly from like San Antonio to Houston or San Antonio to Dallas, and those are 40, like you said, 45-minute flights tops. Like we joke all the time, like to get to Houston from San Antonio, by the time you get to top height, you're almost immediately coming back down. Like it's just so sad. It's like, but again, like it is what it is. So, but yeah, no, I think that's again like following up to what you did. Then like so that's one of the biggest things. I don't know what other people took, but I mean that was one of the biggest things I took from your thing was just the usage of social media. Like I know um, every school's a little different on what you can and can't do. Like I said, I get that. Like I know some that the district controls the team's Facebook page, like to that point. Like So the district social media director will approve whatever gets posted on and off there. Like every district, every school district different, and I get all of it because again, in the world we live in, like it is what it is. I'm trying to think. Like I said, oh, how did your reminds me your raffle, your auction night. Thank
Yeah.
you. Like
No, it was awesome, man. And like we actually ended up making a lot more money than we made last year on it. And I think there's a couple reasons for that, but just to kind of refresh it for maybe somebody didn't catch the first one. I don't know why they wouldn't be why they'd be watching this one if they didn't watch the first one. But basically we split our teams in half and we draft teams for our spring game. And that night when we do that big draft event, we also have a silent auction going and we make a fundraiser and do that. So I actually have a bunch of pictures and I pulled them up just to show it off for you. We had a blast with it. We did some different things with it this year. We invited Cheer to be a part of it, which was really cool. And they actually came through and they did one of the most clutch things that made it better this year, in my opinion, is they came in and they said, "Hey, we want to be involved. We want to do this. Great, let's do it. You guys are in charge of food because I don't want to be in charge of it." And it's such a great event, but that's for the number one feedback that we have gotten is like, hey, we need food, we need something. And
yeah,
so they did a bake sale where they had all their girls bring desserts and stuff like that. And so when you came into the event, we had a student that does pictures for the yearbook and photo and stuff. That's what this is. So the draft event. Um, and we had the red carpet rolled out, and so we got yearbook and those kind of people involved, and she took pictures. Our kids dressed up. All the boys brought dates and friends, and everybody looks great. Some guys brought their mom as their date, but everybody got pictures. The dessert was great. Just a lot of fun, and it's such an easy night. And this was obviously the most important part for me was picking the teams, and so we um, go up and call the kids up and draft them and do that kind of thing. We have every year we do this. We have our kids tell us who some teachers on campus are that they enjoy or that do a good job or whatever, and we come and invite them. And so we have a couple teachers get on and announce the draft picks for us and do celebrity picks like that and get them involved. And it's easy, man. It's fun. Here, Cheer came up and had their couple of minutes, and the girls, they did an awesome job all night of, coming with the boys, and the desserts were good, and they went all out for it, and that was fun. And she announced a pick, and it was just a great time and a good opportunity to get together. And we actually also announced our indoor facility that we're building on campus, our indoor athletics facility that night, and that was really exciting to get a chance to do that too. And no, it was good, man. It was a lot of fun. We kind of pivoted a little bit and had it in the auxiliary gym this year, which was a little bit different of a vibe, but our guys go all out for it. You can see the suits and the shades and the chains and everything like that. It's just a fun evening, and we get so many people involved, a lot of teachers, clubs. I think something we might do next year is have culinary do the desserts for us and just have Cheer run the bake sale. And just try to get as many people involved as we can. And it was a fun night, and we did really well on the auction too. We had some really great prizes and good opportunity to make some money for our program in a pretty easy way.
yeah. I think that's one of the key things is like how can you? I mean, because again, especially at small schools, you don't. The thing with fundraising is you end up hitting up the same people over and over again, and you literally try not to nickel and dime people. Like, and that's why I tell people like when I fundraise, like we'll do an apparel sale, but you know as I do, you don't make anything off of apparel sales. Like there's that like, oh, here's an extra 80 to 150 bucks. Like great, whatever. And then same thing. I mean, like so I do a lift-a-thon every year just because
That's what we're doing.
it's always been an easy one for me. And like, and I tell kids like, you hit 50 bucks, I'm happy. Like if each kid beats me 50 bucks, we're set nutrition wise. You bring me 100, I'll find some extra nice stuff for you to order you. And then anything over that, we're golden. But like. that's the other thing. Like usually I get like business donations or other things, but again, I don't want to hold 85 fundraisers. And so when you could combine, I think what you do is great is combining your big draft event with that. Okay, that's a great one big night event that you can kind of push out there and make work. So
Well, it's it's something that's probably going to change in the future. And as we did spring, and I knew I was going to reach out to you to talk about it. I just tried to be a little bit more present and think about what was going on so that I could have things to talk to you about. And one of the things that I thought about and is probably going to change how I do this is because I agree. I think it's so much fun and it's at a time of the year where the kids are excited about it. And when you're not playing football games and there's nothing on the line right now, for people to get all dolled up like this and come out and spend thousands of dollars and have a great night, like people are excited about football, things are going well. And so the issue with that is it comes at the end of two of the hardest, busiest weeks for me as a coach. We're at the school in the morning for lifts at 6:30, and I'm at the school until with my coaches about 11 o'clock every night of spring ball for 2 weeks because we lift, we go to school and teach, we have install meetings and film review meetings, then we practice, and then after as soon as we practice, me and my coaches go watch it all and grade it and notate it and send it out to the kids. And so we actually are busier coaching staff wise in those 2 weeks of spring ball than we are in the season.
yeah,
And we don't have that kind of schedule in season. And part of that is by design. I kind of want to see which of my new coaches are about it. Who's gonna, oh, I got to get home. I got to do this. That's a fun way to figure it out real quick. But the other part of it is, okay, great. We survived these 2 weeks of, scripting every day, real fast turnaround, team meeting presentations and film review and notes and all this stuff. Congratulations, you made it. Here's the biggest night of your year in the off season with a big event that takes a lot of planning. And so I actually think I'm probably going to retire from coaching the spring game. I'm probably just going to let my assistants do it. And I'll probably be the commissioner next year between the two teams and facilitate it. But for me to go through 2 weeks of spring ball, do all the auction stuff, get everything set up for the draft, talk to everybody I need to talk to for them to do their parts, and then be ready to call the game on Saturday, it's so much. It was so overwhelming and we did it and it was good and it turned out good. But I think in the future to make it better, I'll probably just let my guys do the game part of it.
yeah,
And
I get
if
it.
that's the case, then maybe we can do some other fun stuff with the draft and the auction and that kind of thing. But
Well, and I think you see that a lot more even at the college level. You see a lot of times like when they do some of these spring games, like you have two offensive play callers for both teams, defensive play callers for both teams, even though they're not normally the coordinators or the head coach or whatever. Because I think stuff like events like that do become a lot like, and because you always have other stuff around it at every level, like you just do.
the
So
other thing I the other thing that I recognized that I needed to do better at this year and tried to do so, um, actually asking for help and letting people help you and be involved. People want to be involved. And now that we've done this for a couple years in a row, people look forward to it and people talk about it and they know it's coming. Like, so this year for the auction, I put a parent committee together and I had parents help me pick up donations, get donations, set it all up. Like a lot of that stuff that I did the first couple of years on the back end, I couldn't have done it this year with how much turnover and new stuff and everything there's been like. And so that was a good learning lesson that I got better this spring is when there's stuff that you can get help with, get help. And my parents crushed it. They were so excited to do it and we actually just did this. So I made the spreadsheet and if you go over here you can see, I got some of these can honestly most of these were the ones that I got last year. I just reached out to the same
yeah,
people. But then you see all these other names. You have parents that went and we had awesome stuff this year. We had Target did like $300 in gift cards and AirPods and BYU tickets and house cleanings and gear and it was awesome. It turned out great. But I couldn't have done this year.
No, I get it.
And so that's something I got better at this spring, I think, was just asking for help and being okay getting it and realizing people want to.
Yeah. Well,
People want
I mean, as I do, like when you're there somewhere long enough, you kind of, um, if you can build that good parent base,
yeah.
like, and you kind of figure out who you can trust and who's that. It's always a mom, almost always that go get her mom. Let's be honest. Like, I'm not saying there's no dads, but like, I, there's always a go getter mom. There's always one mom that is just, and there might be more, but there's always
Yeah.
one who's like, I need something done or I need somebody pressured. I'm going to talk to whoever. Like Sheila is going to take care of me, and she is going to just she's gonna force eight other moms to do whatever I need done. Like whether they like it or not, you know that. Like great. Like every school has one. So um but yeah. Now I mean one of the last questions I asked you, like how'd spring install go? Because again, we talk about I mean, obviously the silent auctions all in the spring game are all the fun stuff and the social media and is great, but I mean, he knows as I do, like, okay, in the end, what's the point of spring ball? It's figure out what you got, develop your kids, and excuse me, and kind of get the fundamental part of your program down. And
Right. So for us, this is kind of how we did it and we looked at it and we actually did tweak this and talk about it. But like I said, it's pretty long days, and so the blue, the older kind of varsity type guys are on offense. The red, it's the younger guys. And so this was an offensive day with the older guys, while the younger guys were on defense, and then swap it here back and forth. And when we did that, we put together this sheet. And so all we did was just say, okay, we're going to have them this day, this day, this day, this day. We're going to have 4 days with the older kind of varsity offense guys in spring over these couple of weeks. And so, what do we want to put in? And that first day is real heavy, because a lot of it is like how you operate, right? How you line up, how do you get signals in, what are your splits looking like, all that kind of stuff. And then it tapered off from there. And so we tried to keep it light. A lot of it was kind of our base, just, everyday stuff that we're always going to run. And so after I met with my coaches and we put this together, I would then go on and we where is it right here? We would put together these install presentations for our guys. And so each position group, their coach did theirs. And so obviously mine is for the quarterbacks. And so we kind of that first day, you've got general offensive reminders and philosophy stuff in there. Um, quarterback room mentality stuff, but then you also do get into, the actual football parts of it. And so we put all this on Huddle for the guys to see. Um, and that part of it's good. And then the other thing we'll do in spring that really helps us a lot is we go in and we film everything that happens in spring. We do it with drones or the Huddle cam or whatever it may be, and we film it, and then we go on, and each night the reason we're at the school so late is because our coaches stay and do this, where like we'll leave notes and annotate it and do all that coaching that we can't do on the field for the kids, and every clip has coaching points and notes and things like that. And we do that for all of spring, every one of these clips, all these little annotations, you can see them on the side. And then we go and we look and see which of the kids are watching them. And sometimes we'll slide a thing in there like, oh, hey, if you see this note, come find me today. We'll talk about it. And, if the kid comes and talks to you, see it or whatever. But that part of it was good, man. And the football part of it, it's just crazy how much you can accomplish when it's like a pressure cooker environment.
yeah.
A lot of the bigger schools up here, the schools that don't have to share kids as much in the off season, they'll just start lifting and practicing without pads on and stuff, but practice nonetheless, like January, February before school every day, 3, 4 days a week. And they're just kind of in season, but without pads. And we don't do that because we have so much crossover with our kids. But honestly, I kind of like that ours is all shoved into this 2 week period because it's like, how good can we get in 2 weeks when all your focus is on this? When you're not thinking about a million other things, it's how fast can I pick this up? How much information is coming at you? How much you have to retain? How much feedback are you getting is the hard one for our guys. And we told them you're going to be pushed physically and mentally and emotionally. You're going to get so much feedback that if you aren't emotionally tough or emotionally intelligent, it's going to be like this. You're going to do really well here and you're going to hear about it and then you're going to be here the next play. And it's hard for our kids to do that, but I think it makes us better. And so the install part of it, the football part of it, man, the difference that being in year 3 makes with the same system and similar kids and a senior quarterback that's played every snap since he was a sophomore. And it was a good spring, man. Our coaches did a great job. Our kids did a great job. This
Good.
so
That's again, like I said, that's kind of what you want, just because like again, that's the whole purpose of the spring ball is to see what you got, see what you need to work on, get your kind of base stuff involved, or as some people do, they start messing around with some stuff, like have an idea. Let's
oh
see,
yeah.
let's see if XYZ might work or what it looks like in person and all that jazz. So, um, again, we don't really have true spring ball just because the way our spring sports line up. Like, I mean, I make this comment all the time. Like, well, yeah, the South has spring ball, but they also baseball starts in like February/January. Ours doesn't start till March. Like,
Yeah.
weather's just not conducive for it. Like, so if you have a really good baseball team, you could be going to mid-June in Ohio.
We had a couple of kids that missed some spring ball for baseball.
Yeah.
And what we usually tell those kids is like, hey, look, if your practice ends at 5 and we're not on the field till 5, you might have to miss all of the meetings, you might have to miss all the film, but you have the install. I just put it on huddle. Like, go look at that, get caught up, come to practice, ask questions, that kind of thing. And then when the game comes and you got to miss or you don't want to take reps that day because you're pitching the next day, like, fine, be here, help out. But we had some crossover this year, which is actually a good thing. Like, I'd rather have kids that play multiple sports on our team have to stand out during spring ball and just kind of watch and learn and maybe not be there full time than not have multi-sport athletes on our team. Like, not have numbers and not get those kids. And so,
Well, that's what I told you before we started is like, I mean, our June's going to be a little sparse because we have so many basketball and wrestling kids because wrestling and basketball front load their stuffs in the summer, so football can kind of focus in July. And I'm like, sweet. So like I literally have it on our calendar. If you have another sport, go to your other sport and see us after. Like it's just like I want multi-sport kids because I don't want you getting burned out doing football. And like we'll get you in the weight room. With that I will. And again, kind of like you, once I start posting our installs, they'll be on Huddle. They will be a video on Huddle. Like because they don't they again you can turn on that little install page on Huddle all you want. That's great. What kids are on TikTok and Instagram. Guess what? What's closest to TikTok and Instagram? Your Huddle video. That's the closest you're going to
yeah.
like if yeah, but that's here nor there. Am I before we go, am I missing anything from the spring, coach? Because like I said, I mean, we talked a lot about I really wanted to hit on the social media aspect because again, that's kind of that's the main thing I personally stole from our last talk. So that's where my mind kind of went setting this up. But like, is there anything I didn't hit on that you want to talk about before we go?
Um, I think the last, part of it that's cool for me that it's not really something to, sit here and harp on, I guess, but something that was cool this year that was different was like, I've got a senior class that's done this 3 times now. I've got kids that know what to expect. And like, you start to hear these things. Like, I was talking to our quarterback, he's a 3-year starter. He started every game since he's been here. He's an all-state kid. And he was just like, I can't believe I'm never doing spring ball again. Like, it's my first last. It's the first last. And like, but just having that extra level of like, hey, half our guys know what's going on. They know what to expect. They know there's going to be movement from red team to blue team. They know, some guy that probably shouldn't get drafted is gonna, and some guy that is getting not or that should get drafted isn't gonna. They know that that's part of it. And also, it was just cool. Like there was a couple of times where you could see our young guys start to kind of give in to that emotional part of it. Like, man, I'm overwhelmed. I can't remember this stuff. Coach is getting after me. There's so much. And just to see the older guys go over and just be like, dude, he wants to see how you're going to respond. Like there was a day in spring where we were having an issue with just like drops, just stupid drops, just unfocused drops kind of thing with our receivers and kind of get after him a little bit and yell at this one specific kid and kind of jump down him and you could see that it was getting to him. And then the next rep that he's up, I told the quarterback in the center, like, hey, mess up the snap so that he runs the route and doesn't get a ball. Let's really see if we can push him. And so we do, and he just furious. He's just losing it. Like he's running around. It's hot. He can't catch a ball. Coaches, and then just to see our older guys be like, "Hey, he literally just yelled at you a minute ago about drops, and now you're facing adversity. You think that's an accident?" Like he's watching how you, and so just that level of it, man, it was so different than before because before it was all coming from the coaches. It would have to be like me getting on guys, and then my assistants had to go be the good guys and build the kids back up and stuff. And now it's, hey, I don't really have to be as hard on guys unless I choose to be like I did in that case because my kids are doing it. My kids are holding it. And that was a huge thing that I learned about our team this spring is that we've got some guys that are capable of doing that kind of stuff. And that's when you get really good. So it was fun, man. It was really good. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on to talk about it. It really kind of made me get my ducks in a row and get organized for the kids and my coaches and stuff. So it was fun.
No problem, coach. Like I said, coaches, give my guy a follow on the Twitter, the X, where we're calling it this week, assuming it's not down, because at time of recording, DMs have crashed for a lot of people, and people are issue loading the X. Um, so other than that, like, share, subscribe, all that crap. You can see, yeah, you see that has not changed. I did like, yeah, it's like it helps. It helps people find stuff, like stuff, share, subscribe, all that. Turn a little bell thingy on, whatever. Like I said, but again, you got questions, you want to see some of his stuff more in depth, reach out to Coach. Coach is very easy to get a hold of. Didn't you also do like? 'Cause I'm gonna help promote you for a second. Didn't you also were you on the Tatum's coordinator thing too?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to check, what did you talk about? So plug
We
that real.
did we did vertical choice.
Okay. Yeah, so if you want to see some of his vertical choice stuff, check out that. Coach Tatum's a friend of the channel too. So if you want to jump over there, look for that. It's on the corner thing that I also did too. So check that out. Like again, all love between us YouTubers. So check that out. Otherwise, like I said, just like, share, subscribe. Thanks, guys.